Mondays with Red and Bobby. The time is 12:08. It's a Friday, Jubilee Friday. Let's start this off, Bobby. Go.
Welcome to the Year Is Podcast, the podcast where every episode, me, comedian Bobby Mair, and my friend, comedian Red Richardson, travel back to a year in history. We talk about the weirdest, most interesting, and fucked up things from that year. And our guest this episode, it's our first fan.
Well, I wouldn't. Come on.
And comedian.
Yeah.
Yes, fan first, comedian second.
Yeah.
Yeah, fan/comedian Ed Knight.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Formerly
me.
known as Ed Day.
It's a pleasure to have. Don't put my government on the podcast. What are you talking about? That's insane.
But you had to change your name on Spotlight, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. There was already another Ed Day kicking about, and they didn't let me use my name, my real name, so I had to change it.
I'm just confused about why there can't be two actors with the same name. It's like, eventually there's going to be so many people.
This is what was fucked up, because I was allowed to use my name if I got like a written letter of permission from them saying I could, and they were like, no. I think because I'm thinking of doing open mic comedy one day, so
That's so
I don't want us to
what
clash.
they said now.
Yeah, they were just like, no,
That's
you
so
can't have
fun.
it. It's my name. It's
Imagine
crazy.
being called Robert De Niro and being a shit actor.
Well, that happens to loads of people, isn't it? Like David Jason's, his real name is Barry White.
What?
Did you not know this?
What,
This
Del
is like the
Boy?
most famous. Yeah,
Del
Del
Boy,
Boy's
he's
real
called
name
Barry
is Barry White.
That is
yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
But there was already a pretty good...
I just want to clear up this fan of the podcast thing. that
Yeah,
we had
okay.
going
Oh, God,
earlier
he's
on.
mad.
Just clear that
Red
up.
told me you love the podcast, so you listen to all
I
the
do. I
apps.
really enjoy the podcast. I really enjoy hearing Red getting taken down a peg.
Down a peg? What are you talking about?
Someone needs to do it.
Well,
Oh,
because
stop
in
it.
life, I'm friends with Red. And I'd say, not that we're not friends, but you're friends with Red and I'm friends
Yeah.
with Red. That's our connection.
Yeah.
But
I'm the glue.
You're
I'm
the sticky
the reason
glue.
we're all here.
I would
Yeah.
say in life, Red, probably because he's bigger than you and a bit older than you, he likes to bully you.
He
I
does
don't
like
like
to
to
bully
bully
me. You keep calling me your protege.
I did what on a podcast? I said
Yeah.
Well, when I met you, you were a tiny little baby.
Yeah, we met when like I was like
You were
I was
10.
doing like my 5th gig or 6th
Yeah, he
gig
was
or
10
something. So
years
I've known Red like the longest out of anyone.
You
in
used to
comedy.
juggle on stage. That was Ed's act. They called
Yeah.
him the juggling boy.
They call me the juggling boy.
No,
But
I met
thought
you
there was
when
already
you were
somebody called the juggling boy in
You were
Spotlight. so
18.
I was 19. Yeah.
19.
Yeah, fresh
Just a
faced little
fresh-faced young boy.
spring faced boy doing stand up comedy for the first time.
Mm-hmm. And how old are you now?
26.
So it's been a long old
Long
ride.
time. How old are you now, Red?
Like 30 or something. No, I'm 33.
Yeah, 30 or
A
something.
woman
yeah.
in Thailand thought you were 45, so...
Oh my god,
Yeah,
that
but
was
everyone
so
else
funny.
said 33.
That was so funny.
Everyone
like,
else, she was just mean.
every sort of like, I had to kind of figure out what time it would have been in Thailand because of the time difference. But every day, without fail, I'd get either a picture of Red in like a swimming pool talking about how good his life is, or a 5-minute audio recording of a tourist calling him a hippo.
No, it was good fun.
How many people were you messaging all your friends while on your honeymoon?
I know of at least you, me, and Sunil.
Yes, and I've got a few.
Who else?
I don't know.
But were you
just
just
the
sitting
boys.
there?
Do you know
being-
how long it takes to send a message? 5 seconds.
But like,
What do you want me to be doing? It's so little time.
sexing your wife. That's what
Yeah,
honeymoons are
don't
for.
Tell
be
you what,
so
sexy.
crude.
He only takes 5 seconds to sex.
Oh, very nice. Bobby went on safari recently and came back after a day without seeing the lion. So, you know.
That was because it's very hard to travel with a baby who didn't want to sleep for a night, Red. And you couldn't understand that because you don't have a child. The struggles of a
none
parent
them
are very difficult.
Absolutely.
and-
You went on safari. That's sick. I went on safari in Melbourne.
yeah,
Did
no.
you?
It was so sick.
What do they have?
The headlines, they're gorillas.
Yeah?
Yeah, the gorilla exhibition was sick because the
Indigenous to Australia?
the tour guide. No,
Yeah, Red.
No.
Indigenous
So-
Australia.
So no, the point I'm trying to get, I'm actually being really clever here. Subtle.
yeah,
So you're sort of funding animals being stolen.
no. I had the ticket bought for me, like it was like a free trip.
Oh, yeah,
as
yeah,
part of
sure.
the Melbourne Comedy Festival. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
He's
so-
not just a fan, he's also a comedian.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
also
yeah.
a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you won't know what it's like to go to the Melbourne Comedy Festival.
I've never been, no.
Have you been to the zoo?
I've been to London Zoo. I had a great time.
How
I used
is
to
it?
go regularly as a kid. And then I go to the
not
gift
something
shop
I've done.
after and buy a soft toy of my favourite animal of the day.
What's your favorite animal? What's like your most
I had a
regular favorite
monkey
animal?
that I called Jim.
Jim.
What a
Yeah.
shitty name for a monkey.
What type of monkey? Yeah, it's awful. Well,
Why?
yeah, George is quite a bad name for a monkey.
Yeah,
as
but
well.
that's just Hack. I wasn't Hack.
Yeah.
What was your childhood toy called, Dad?
My child, I had a stuffed tiger from one of those claw machines at the petrol
Mhm.
station. It was called Hobbs,
Yeah.
after Calvin and Hobbes.
I didn't have toys when I was a kid. I just worked out and fucked.
Just pumping iron.
Yeah, I was pumping iron and fucking. That's what I did.
Yeah, that was
just
your-
doing it from Dave.
Yeah.
Getting pussy from Dave, man.
Yeah.
That's why I respect Bobby. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
a lot of people are like, oh, I was an awkward kid. No. I was just fucking and like taking numbers.
So how,
Cage fight.
how old?
Cage
Like
fight.
4 or 5?
I was like 10, but looked 15, fucking 19-year-olds. So they thought they were fucking a 15-year-old, but actually they were
They thought
pedophiles.
they were like an ephebophile. What's the word? Like a
it-
pederast, and turns out they were just a poor pedophile.
Yeah. We've talked about that tweet. There was a great tweet. We all saw it
Which
about
one?
a couple years ago. Where it said, when someone's calling someone a pedophile, but you want to correct them and say they're not a pedophile, they're a hebophile, but then you sound like a pedophile.
Yeah.
Great tweet. Can't remember who tweeted it, but
Red, which one are you?
Mm.
So I'll try a little gotcha there.
Yeah. Well, good chat, Ed. Let's get on with the podcast.
Yeah, what happened in the year 2001?
Well, you just fucked up the intro. I was going to
Oh,
go,
fuck. Sorry.
get in the time machine, everyone.
Okay.
Ed,
I hate
there's-
what he does this
there's
time. No, we're not
plenty-
good at fucking
there's
time
plenty of
machine
room.
You do
shit.
this every time.
Oh.
I shotgun
It
the
just
front,
gets cut out
shotgun the
every
front
time. It just
seat.
gets cut out every time.
Everyone, put your belts on. Woo! We're back, 2001.
He tried this on the first episode, and
Yeah,
I
he told me
vetoed
he
it.
told me I'm not allowed to do it.
Yeah.
And I've wanted to do it ever since.
Okay.
I
So
go,
you just
oh
thought-
my God, what's that outside? I can see the Twin Towers. Because we're back in 2001.
Sorry, you're saying that you're flying a machine through the air and you can see the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Out the window.
Oh, we're going into it. Oh, no.
Oh,
We're
there's
crashing.
another time machine. Look at that.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no, there's another time machine.
Two time machines.
I love the idea that that Red goes back in time, and his dream to go. He's like, I want to go back to 2001 and be one of the hijackers of 9/11.
I want to get back to New York, or it's just my time machine's ruins.
I feel like they could have done a lot more if they had good leadership.
Yeah, I've often thought that you're the Muhammad Atta of comedy.
Well, yeah. Ring the Samaritans is the lesson learned that day, you know?
Bring the Samaritan.
What?
Just don't. Mental health is important.
I heard a lot of the hijackers were struggling with their mental health
Yeah,
issues.
Yeah,
well, they
why did
committed
someone-
suicide, so
Why
clearly
didn't
they were.
someone just talk to them? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, just open up.
Someone just didn't talk to them, you know?
Well, what happened there was there was someone who was thinking about harming themselves or other people, and they talked to someone else, and they told them their ideas about harming themselves and other people, and that person said,
Yeah.
I'd like to get involved.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
And
talked
then
to
they-
like, yeah.
cheaper
just
than
spread.
therapy.
They
Getting
talked to like
getting
a
on a
CIA
flight, isn't it?
agent who was like, please. I actually saw an article about that yesterday. It was like an undercover cop was like chatting to this guy online who was suicidal, and the undercover cop posing as like a sexy woman convinced him to like kill himself, like in a blaze of glory instead.
What a cuck.
Yeah. And then they arrested him for like planning a terrorist attack or something.
fuck.
It was insane.
God, I watched
That seems that seems weird.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, why
Did
would
they
you do
bring
that?
up the idea? They were like, what if you, instead of killing yourself, you...
Yeah, they were like, don't hang yourself. How about you, like, you got to take some people with you. Do you know what I mean? That's the mission. If you're going to kill yourself anyway, you might as well.
Jesus.
And he was like, all right, well, I won't kill myself tonight. And then they went and arrested him for planning a terror attack or something.
Fucking
It's
hell.
insane.
I watched a 9/11 doc the other day,
Yeah.
and
Was it the film Remember Me?
no, do you remember what it was? It was last year. Like there was released like 6 docs
Yeah.
for the 20-year anniversary, which
Of 9/11.
seems a weird thing to do. It's usually like albums you do that.
I never
for.
watched it. I felt like I remembered what happened, and that was enough.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
no, there
feel
was
like
loads
there's
of
not-
like
no disrespect to the victims of 9/11, but I feel like there's not a huge amount to like go into. Do you know what I mean? You've got the planes hitting the towers, George Bush being whispered to by that guy in the school, and the one that failed.
Oh
the
no, this
passengers took
this had
over, do you know
loads
what
of
I
it. They spoke to the guy who taught them to fly the plane. They had one guy who was on the desk at the airport, and he said, "They look like terrorists to me, but I don't want to get in trouble because you can't really say anything anymore." It's like this racist guy was just completely vindicated that one time in his horrific opinions.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, but that wasn't the biggest thing
In
that happened in
2001.
2001. No,
Yes, it was.
It was
wasn't
the biggest
It wasn't.
thing, yeah.
Well, are you going to let me talk?
Well, we think we're done talking about 9/11?
Well, no, okay, fine. We'll carry on talking about 9/11. I thought Ed was just like, well, all that happened is a plane went into a building.
No, I mean, we're sort of like comedians. We're the new philosophers. We've got a lot to
Oh,
offer the people
God.
listening to this about like
Oh my God.
we can have a little a forum here
Philosophers
about
don't get
9/11.
punched in the face.
I think they probably did.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They
Didn't they
deserve
make-
it.
Didn't
Have
they-
you ever been punched? When's the last time you got punched in the face?
Not for years.
Yeah,
Didn't they make Socrates kill himself?
Yeah, he drank hemlock. Yeah.
Really? Why? Because he was too smart.
Yeah, something like
Your
that.
brain's pissing me off drinking
Yeah,
this.
yeah. He was like, he was too.
They
much
were
of a
all.
player.
They were all. What's funny is they don't call it. When Greeks 3,000 years ago were pedophiles, they don't call it pedophilia. They call it like, what do they call it?
Love.
Boy love.
No,
They had
no.
that practice of like you'd have like your
Pedantry.
wife.
Is it pedant? No.
You'd have
Well,
your
like
wife,
Gandhi did that thing.
and then like a boy.
Gandhi was like, I'm going to sleep with 10, 11-year-olds so you know I'm a good guy because I'm not going to do anything. It's like, this is weird.
Yeah, that's weird as hell.
Look how erect I am and I'm not doing anything.
Socrates was a fucking loser in the end because he got ordered to like the court or something ordered his execution. They were like, you have to drink hemlock, and he had like loads of mates who were like, we'll just like get you out of the city. We'll just like help you run away. He was like, no, I'll just do it.
Fuck. Why did he do that?
I don't know, man.
He probably wanted a cool end.
We could go live in Bali or something.
Yeah. What? I wonder why he didn't do that.
I would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're that smart, you could have built a plane.
Oh, is that Socrates? Oh
Yeah,
my god!
He really is
And here comes
intelligent.
Plato. Oh fuck!
Yeah. But 2001, big event, probably the biggest event in our lifetime, Bobby,
What
for
was
us
that?
personally, and for this podcast.
9/11.
Without this, we wouldn't be here today.
9/11.
Wikipedia was launched in 2001, which
Jesus.
many of the amazing facts that have been shared on this show, I hate to say it, have come from Wikipedia. No, we don't always read books to research for this show.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't have time for that, so we go on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
What a great invention.
What's your favourite page on Wikipedia, Red?
There's loads. There's too many to pick from, and I'm not 5. Why would I pick my favourite page on Wikipedia?
You literally just asked me what my favourite monkey was like 5 minutes ago. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, I said, what was your favourite childhood toy?
Oh, yeah, there's the tiger.
Because you were a child, so you would have had a favourite one.
Yeah,
so it made
you're right,
sense.
yeah.
He's using a stroppy tone again.
I'm not.
You are. That's
Oh,
your
sorry,
stroppy
Rev, sorry
tone.
for coming on and undermining the format.
Okay, well, we all...
He's trying to be serious, Ed. Look at his serious face. Okay, continue.
well,
Continue
I'm
being serious.
add to it.
Who invented Wikipedia?
I don't know. I'll Wikipedia it now.
You told me, Bobby, you don't need your computer. I've done all the research. I know what's up.
I didn't expect him to ask questions. I forgot to tell you, one of the big rules of this podcast is don't ask questions because often we don't know the answers.
Who invented Wikipedia? I don't know.
Okay, I do know now because I just Wikipedia'd it.
Okay.
That's how good this program is, website is.
Yeah,
You
I've
can
got to
just
start using it.
Jimmy Wales and Larry Sanger. 6ix9ine, the American rapper. Are you aware of 6ix9ine?
No, I don't know what that is.
6ix9ine is an American rapper who he's part of the, you know how like trolling has met music and acting, and so like he was a troll who got a big following for being a troll, writing abuse to people, making abusive videos, stuff like that.
What?
Yeah, and then he became a rapper. He's
Sorry,
got
on what platform is he sending?
like probably Instagram, YouTube, stuff like that.
Has this got something to do with 1996?
He was
other than
born
the
in
fact-
this year.
Oh.
Sorry, I should have said that. He was born. He has 6ix9ine. He's got 69 tattooed 69 times on his face. He's got rainbow-coloured hair, and he was like,
Is he?
he does a gangster drill, whatever.
Where's he from?
He's from New York, but he's like a little troll. He's tiny. He's got this long rainbow-coloured hair. He's got like the most disgusting like rainbow-coloured grills. Anyone who doesn't know, Google what he looks like. It's ridiculous. But he became famous because it's like, look how fucked this guy is. Because you instantly go, what is that? And he's terrible at rapping. He admits he's bad at rapping, but he sort of affiliated himself with a real gang in order to boost his rap image. And so they started hanging out, and he'd stand behind them while they did actual crimes. He filmed them.
It's like me in the school toilets.
Yeah, exactly. This is very similar. He filmed them robbing somewhere and uploaded it onto Insta because he's an idiot. And then they all got arrested. And within an hour of being in a holding cell, he decided to snitch on the whole gang. And they've all gotten like 25 years to life in jail or something. He's back out on the streets making music. He puts a rat emoji after everything he says, which I think is quite refreshing for rap. It's such a like keep your mouth shut, don't snitch gangster genre. All gangster rap is anyway. There's obviously other forms of rap, but he's just gone. No, I'm the snitch rapper. I'll fucking tell on you.
So how long ago was this?
This was like he got let out early, but he got sentenced like a year for a fray, and he ordered someone to get shot, and they missed. But he got out because of coronavirus, so because he has asthma.
What?
Yeah, but he's wanted. He's going to have security for the rest of his life. But he was born there. The thing is, this isn't interesting, but if you do listen, do a deep dive on him because it's just unbelievable. He's an emblem of our time. Like you don't have to be talented. He's clickbait as a person, you know.
So he is going to be killed by the rest of them when they're all let out.
Yeah, when he's like 55. And the thing is, he can't get another job now because he's got 6'9" tattooed 69 times on his face. And even if you're into tattoos, you still go, this guy's a fucking idiot.
He is absolutely never. He's going to be at the same employment office as Priscilla Presley.
Yeah. And
Lisa
Amber
Marie
Heard.
and Amber Heard. The unemployables.
Yeah.
But not for the normal reasons why people are unemployable.
Yeah.
But because the prick went and got that tattooed across his face.
I tell you what Amber Heard could do that would make me go, okay, fair enough. She just went, look, guys, I'm a crazy bitch. I rolled the dice. I fucking lost. I was pissed off. I wanted to take him down because he pissed me off. I got caught out. Happens to the best of us. You kind of go, fair enough. And she's like, look, the tears in court were fake. Do you know what I mean? I was trying my best.
I can't cry.
Yeah.
I find it really difficult to cry.
Yeah.
Which has been documented. I don't like him. He hurt me. He was a drunk. He was an abusive alcoholic. We all believe that.
Yeah.
But also I have committed perjury.
Yeah. And I did shit in his bed.
Yeah.
Because it was fucking funny at the time.
Actually, I reckon she didn't shit in his bed. I reckon her mate did it.
Yeah. She paid her mate.
Someone
to do
else is like that's a mate thing to do,
Give you
isn't it?
$1,000.
Like I've got friends who would shit in a guy's bed if I asked him to, you know?
Yeah, there's a White Lotus. Have you seen that on Sky? There's one scene where this guy has been pissed off by this guest for so long. The hotel manager, this guy's been nagging him the whole season, and he just goes into his room, unzips his suitcase, and just squats and shits in it.
Oh no!
And he's got the most satisfied, angry look as he's doing it. I've not laughed that much in a long time. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
It's the last taboo.
What?
Scat.
Shitting and
stuff.
I think there's a few more taboos as well still.
Nah, but like in movies and stuff, like they've touched upon every single thing that people find taboo. But one thing they haven't really touched upon that it's like that's not in porn is shitting. It's not like a thing you see in films.
What? So you want to see like DiCaprio shit on Kate Winslet's face?
On her chest or two, or a glass table. I'd love him to take a shit on one of those. And then he'd look down and he'd be like, look, both of us could fit on here, but I'm putting you underneath, you fuck.
Born 96, Tom Holland.
Oh, how'd you
everywhere.
How do you feel about Tom Holland?
I find him deeply, deeply annoying. Everywhere I look on fucking my Instagram news feed is him on a chat show telling a really boring story.
Yeah.
There's men who make him sound down to earth. He'll be like, I was in a cab for the audition and this guy says, I recognize you, aren't you? And then there'll be the wrong name because it's self-deprecating.
It's like a hack joke.
Yeah, and then he'll be like, you know, a few months later, he'll be like, did you get that role? And I'll like see a poster of my, you know, it's just like these really boring stories and you go, this isn't true.
It's not his fault though, it's publicity.
It is, and he's probably a really decent bloke.
I think he is a lovely lad. I don't know if I call him a bloke yet.
No.
But I think a lovely lad for sure.
Yeah.
And he is just, you know, he's got these huge movies he's got to market, and that's how they do it. They do it. We're in the cult of personality. Look at what they're fucking doing to the royal family at the moment. The other day, I saw Prince Charles sat on a stool with a mottled background talking about how he grieves for his father. What are we doing to people, guys?
Everyone has to be fucking Adele.
Everyone
or
has
Hannah
to have
Gadsby.
a fucking. It's like what? No comment. But look at Adele. Like, she used to just put an album out and we'd love her for it. And then she had to sit opposite Oprah and she'd be like, so what's the album about? She'd be like, divorce, babe, divorce.
Yeah,
And she's like,
yeah.
I wanted to write an album so my son knows exactly what the reasons why I dumped his father.
That is so...
I just don't feel that there's anything we can really do about this at the moment, because the problem is that there are some people in the world who have like really interesting stories because they've made like wild decisions whilst those interesting moments happen in their life. But there are some people that just observe stuff and then regurgitate it, and it's always really boring. But the problem we've got is lazy journalism is now it's just lazy journalists.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, oh, tell me some like, you know, Edinburgh Fringe is coming up
Yeah,
for you, and you're probably being asked all sorts of weird questions.
What do you think of cancel culture? Why don't you what do you want from me? Fuck off.
What about are you like into sort of like Zendaya and Tom together? Are you into that vibe?
No, I just find apparently she's amazing in Utopia. I don't really know who she is, but it's just one of those.
Euphoria.
She's got this
Euphoria.
Euphoria.
Yeah.
She's got one of those like fucking. There's too many people, and it's not their fault. Again, it's like I was talking to someone the other day about it. Like that Louis Theroux rap song is so annoying now, and it was I just it's whatever.
I don't know the Louis Theroux rap song.
Okay, but everyone's TikTok dancing to it, and it's not his fault that I've heard it by mistake millions of times on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Well, I've just, for example, so I've told you to do this loads, Reds, in our friendship. We have a real one outside of this situation. I've said this to you, that the best way for you to function in life without getting angry is to get on your mute words on Twitter and mute things that get repeated. So, for example, today, you have to be more specific. So, on my muted words today, it's the Wednesday just before everyone goes off to Glastonbury.
Yeah.
So, I have muted Glastonbury.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know it's happening. And I know everyone else is going to be there. I don't need to hear about people doing Glastonbury, because I've watched Beyonce at Glastonbury and it was one of the worst gigs I've ever been to. It was muddy as fuck. I didn't think the performance was very good. She called it Glastonbury.
Don't know. I mean, you're getting at least 2 mil. Say it right, please.
Yeah. It's not the same as like, I just prefer sitting in my room with the food I need, dry feet, no trench foot on its way, listening to the music in my ears. Is that too much to ask? So I've just put that on mute, and I suggest you do that with the Louis Theroux song as well.
Yeah, I could do that. And
it just helps.
yeah, I just hate when people start parasocial relationship like with couples, and they're like couple goals about these two.
Do you want me to read my mute list to you?
Yeah, go on, let's have it. Let's have it.
All right. Quite funny.
I'm sure it is.
Because it's not stuff that you would think. It's not stuff I hate. It's stuff that people say too much. Muted words.
Yeah.
Okay. Hashtag FA Cup.
Okay.
I don't need to see any more about football.
Well, the FA Cup was ages ago.
Yeah, but when it happened, I had to just get rid of it.
You're pre-planning for next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hashtag Love Island.
Yeah.
I
Fair
can't
enough.
do that. Adele.
Okay.
For some reason, and I don't remember why, but I could probably get rid of this one now. Alicia Dixon.
Okay. The Year Is podcast.
Alfie and Zoe, which I think is Alfie Days and Zoe Suck,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
YouTubers.
Yeah.
The word Apollo,
Okay.
which I think is to do with Live at the Apollo.
Not the spaceship.
No.
Sick of the fucking spaceship.
Sick of it. Biden.
Yeah.
I don't need any more information on Joe Biden.
You don't want to see him falling off a bike?
No, I don't need that.
Okay.
Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
God bless him, even Chadwick Boseman
Oh my God.
got the boot. Just because
Jesus Christ.
it was very sad that he died,
Yeah.
but I didn't need to see a million people saying bullshit about him. And as someone who has lost someone else, it isn't like helpful. Like, I always feel bad for like Caroline Flack's family. Like every time her birthday comes along, they've got to put up with like reams and reams of bullshit on fucking.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they're not on Twitter. To be
And
fair.
people will share videos going, look at this interview when he knew he was going to die. And you're like, well, this is just fucking depressing.
Brexit.
Yeah, fair
Carol
enough.
Baskin. The Conservative and Conservatives. Corbyn.
Yeah.
Coronavirus.
Yeah.
COVID-19. The word coming.
Okay.
I think it's Dominic Cummings. Dancing on Ice.
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah.
Diana.
Good list. And is that it?
No.
Oh God. Okay.
We're only on D.
Oh, it's alphabetical. Oh,
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Drag Race.
Yeah.
Election. European. For some reason.
European is banned.
For some reason.
Okay.
FA Cup is banned.
FA Cup's back.
The word fat.
Yeah.
The word fat shamed.
You hate everyone. You hate the positive people.
I was going to say she's basically muted Twitter.
Yeah. What do you do on there? You must see like one advert or something, and that's it.
Football. The term gained weight. That's gone.
Okay.
Gary Lineker. Girls Aloud. Glastonbury. Greta Thunberg. Harry and Meghan. Harry Potter. Holly Willoughby. The word island. James Corden.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling. Joel Dommett for some reason. Joe, I love you. I'm so sorry. I don't know why, but you must have been trending for some reason and I couldn't see it anymore. It must have been, maybe it was Jonathan Ross has been muted as well.
Yep.
But I do follow him, so I do still see stuff. Kourtney Kardashian, the term Kardashian. Latitude. I think Latitude Festival. The word lineup. Love Island. The name Megan.
Okay.
The word obesity, overweight. The word petition. Pete Davidson. Philip Schofield. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Politics, Premier League, presidential debate, Prince Andrew, Prince Harry, Princess Diana, put on weight, the word racist, real Donald Trump is gone, the term really proud. Why? And then Rebel Wilson's gone. I can't hear any more about her losing weight. Russell Brand is gone. Super League is gone, and the term league.
Why do you have? What do you do on Twitter? I can't. What does it look like on there?
Tiger King, and Tiger King. The word Trump. I don't want to see any more about Trump. The best bit about all of this is the last 5 are variations of the term Yas Queen. Yas Queen, Yas Queen, Yas Queen, Yas Queen, and Yas Queen.
I mean, that's a good list. I think fair enough. But yeah, so this year we're going back to 2006. Tim, where were you in 2006?
He was born.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was born.
Well, he's
Tim's 16 years old.
He's just had the worst life ever.
When Tim was born, he was a walking, talking boy, and it's like Benjamin Button. He's aging backwards. He was an old man, and now he's reverting back into a boy.
Where were you, Bobby? I think I was in my A-levels. Yeah.
2006, I had just started. I was a year into comedy, loving it.
Yeah.
Doing open mics every night. My uncle had died. I was wearing his trench coat.
That's weird.
Well,
Well, no, it's actually not weird. You know what's weird? It's weird when men wear like them dead mum's clothes.
No, well,
But you're allowed to wear your dad's clothes.
wow. Red's bringing some transphobia to the podcast.
No. But you know, it's like the Psycho and stuff like that. You know, there's something like, oh, he wears his mother's dresses that is associated with being a serial killer.
Bringing up Psycho does not make it not transphobic.
I'm not being I'm just saying it's like with Jimmy Savile. Everyone goes, I bet he wore his mother's clothes when she was dead. There's a definite stigma to that. Whereas you
There
can wear
is
your
a
dad's
stigma.
coat. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I used to have a joke about how like I was talking to somebody and they were saying like their dad had died and to feel better about it they'd like wear his like sweaters and I was
his
like
pants.
his what?
His pants.
Yeah.
I haven't washed them for years.
What was your
No.
material like back then? 2006.
No, but then
Oh God.
let me finish my story. But then my joke was just that like my mom had just died,
Yeah.
and it was like, well, I'm not gonna like wear her dresses, you
Yeah.
know, to feel closer to her.
Mm.
There's more to the joke, but
Well,
I
that's
don't
basically what
remember
I'm saying. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Before I was accused of being transphobic.
Bigot?
Yeah.
Bigot. Yeah. Yeah, bigot.
You're a bigot.
5 minutes in, I'm finished. It's over.
Red, wherever you go, this is what happens. You can't fight it.
Like what? Being called a bigot?
Yeah.
Well, just being, you know,
In Saudi Arabia, I'm very progressive.
Yeah.
tell us. You said what happened to you in Thailand about
What?
blackjack?
Oh, this guy came up to me and said, "You are Blackjack." I said, "What?" And he goes, "You're Blackjack." And I was like, "Who are you?" He goes, raises, I think he means Jack Black. I said, "Jack Black." He said, "Yes, that guy." And then the guy, there was a guy who ran a laundrette that I went to. Very reasonable man, good prices. Also had a cab service. But he said, "You look like a movie star," and I thought he was just complimenting me. And he kept saying it. He said, "Movie star," every time I walked past him. So I actually ended up. It was a longer way round, but I'd take that way. And just so I get that little hit of dopamine when he called me a movie star. And then his wife was like, "He thinks you're the guy from those movies." So he wasn't saying I look like I should be a movie star. He thought I was Jack Black.
I don't think
I look like him at all.
you look that much like
No,
Jack Black.
I don't. And it happens, I get stopped in the street going, "You're Jack Black."
Also, Jack Black is a 50-year-old.
I know. It's not good. It's not good at all.
He's like 50, and you're like 32.
I was so funny. We met this English couple, and this lady was like, "Oh, everyone mistakes my husband for Tom Cruise," and I just like, no one mistakes this man for Tom Cruise, and I was like, "Yeah, I can see it." She's like, "All my family call him Tom Cruise. He looked nothing like
Or
him."
maybe he just had his personality and height.
Yeah.
Those are the two worst things to have about Tom Cruise. I'm a short Scientologist, but otherwise we have nothing in common.
Well, 2006, I was 17. Yeah. Gearing up. I was doing history at A-level. Gearing up, learning for this podcast.
Well, that was the beginning of a 15-year journey.
Yeah, to where we are now.
Wow, 15 years of learning for you.
To be sat next to BAFTA-nominated Tim Renkow.
We're the same age.
What are you? Yeah, well, are we?
I think because I graduated.
Just say how old you are now, and then we can work it out that way.
What year were you born? That's an
I
easier way.
was born in 1989.
Same with me.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Yeah, that's.
That's how it works.
Wait, what, Tim? What month?
September.
Red?
January. I'm older than Tim.
No, you're younger.
No, I'm older. I was born in January 1989.
Yes, you are.
You were September. I need to get my skates on. Got no BAFTAs.
Yeah.
Well, neither does he. He was just nominated. He lost. 2006 was a very, very traumatic year for animal lovers around the world because Steve Irwin died.
I gotta say, when Steve Irwin died, I came home, and I was living with my friend Adam at the time, and it was on the news.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that a crocodile hunter had died by getting stung in the chest by a stingray,
Mm-hmm.
I laughed the hardest I've ever laughed in my life. Like, not like, haha. I mean, dying laughing.
Death is never fun. Well, I'm sure it has been
It
funny.
is funny
That is hilarious.
when a guy says, "I'm a crocodile hunter,"
Mhm.
and then gets killed by an animal.
Yeah. It's like James Bond dying of an asthma attack, isn't it? Or something like that. Yeah, it was so sort of not fitting that it was, if you know what I mean. Like, he'd spent his whole life putting his head in the mouths of crocodiles, and then he just swims over it's on video of it, wasn't there? Remember when YouTube was just like
Anything
horrible
goes.
videos,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
ISIS beheadings.
and now there's like right wing guys who get kicked off there for like criticizing the vaccine or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a fucking pit, that place. No regulation at all. But his daughter's now like does what he does. And I think his son as well. They've carried on the legacy.
I feel like they didn't learn from their father's life and death.
Well, I think the crocs are fine. Just stay away from the stingrays.
No, but like,
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, there might be a message there. Like, just stay away from wild animals. They don't necessarily like need you to fuck with them.
No,
But I think they're into conservation. I think even though he was called the Crocodile Hunter, he did do a lot of conservation.
he wasn't even hunting them. He was just finding them and fucking around with them. You know what I mean? Like,
I think sometimes he was moving them to places, helping them out.
It
Like,
just seemed
I'm
like
so glad you said around. I bet you weren't just gonna. He's just finding them and fucking them.
yeah.
right. No. But he didn't seem to ever do anything. He'd just stick his head in their mouth and go, "Look at this."
I feel like he must have been doing like he had such a good. I feel like he must have. He had such a good reputation. He must have been like moving them to a zoo or some good shit.
Yeah,
His TV show was never like that. It was just like, what's the
Yeah.
science here? I'll find a killer whale and stick my dick in his blowhole. Look at that. They hate it. Anyway, that's proved my point.
Because I always wonder about the guy that discovered that you could stick your head in crocodiles' mouth.
Yeah, he was suicidal.
Like,
He's like,
why-
come on.
yeah. Why isn't this working?
He wanted to die. And he's just like, oh, actually, you can do that.
That'd be a horrible way to go.
I think it'd be quick.
Or not.
Yeah.
The or not. What if the teeth just don't quite hit the right arteries?
It wouldn't be the teeth. It's like 3 tons of pressure.
Yeah, they just
So
ragdoll
you
you.
just get crushed.
Well, don't they just, they drown you, don't they, crocodiles?
Yeah.
They do the devil's roll.
Yeah.
And then they bury you
Yeah.
and eat you like 4 days later.
They just let the meat.
Yeah. They
Salt.
marinate it in bog water.
I'm hungry.
Is this making you hungry, Tim?
So,
You want to eat a
That
dead
must be-
body?
That must be so annoying for a crocodile, though. Because now if he kills a human and he's like, good, I'm going to put it there. In 4 days, me and my family are going to have a great roast dinner, you
Yeah.
know? And then some human comes back and just takes the body. And
Takes
he's
it
like,
away.
you're not allowed to kill people. And he's like, let me just have my meat.
Yeah, it's already dead.
Yeah.
Or another croc, and he's like, Alan, that's mine. I killed that. Get the fuck out.
so I feel like the crocodile hunter would be like, yeah, let me be eaten.
Well, I think he was
Like-
against it, really. I think.
No.
Oh, you
but
mean,
like
once
after
he's dead.
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure he was against it at the time.
Well, the way you said it, it was like he'd just sacrifice himself to the crocodiles.
But what, like, how did that come about? And his parents must have had a nightmare with him, as it, like, because every time he saw a snake in that TV show, he'd just run after it, and they just didn't want anything to do with him. I bet the animal kingdom were celebrating the day he died.
Norm Macdonald had an amazing bit he did on the Daily Show a couple months afterwards.
Okay.
Where he just talked about how happy the animal kingdom was.
Oh, really?
It was so funny, and Jon
Really?
Stewart's just laughing,
Okay.
but trying not to laugh the whole time. But like, it's amazing.
And then South Park did that great episode where the devil has a party. Do you remember that?
No.
And Steve Irwin turns up and he's like, no, that's not funny because it's costume party. Steve Irwin turns up and he's like, no, that's not funny. It's too soon. He's only just died. And he goes, no, I'm actually Steve Irwin. And they're like, well, you're not wearing a costume, so you can't come in.
But he's in hell.
Yeah. he's in hell for some reason.
Because South Park, everyone goes to hell except the mom.
Yeah.
You're terrified of wild animals, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a bit scared, yeah.
Are there any that you're cool with?
I might like cats and stuff, but I'm just a bit like, ooh.
Cats.
Yeah, cats are fine. I hate.
I said wild animals, and you're like, I like cats.
Oh, no,
that's...
and they can't be wild cats. They can't be domesticated. Otherwise,
So you don't mind a
I
trained
like,
cat?
I
Yeah.
like the idea that Red's only cool with tigers.
Yeah. No, I'm weird with that. I'd never grab a snake by the neck. That's for sure. But no, I just sort of like it's definitely wary of them.
I like small monkeys. I'm cool with. I love like getting some food in Thailand. When I was in Thailand, I'll get some food and get the tiny monkey to crawl up and sit on my shoulder or sit on my head and play with my hair. Love it.
I would never do that ever. I would freak out. I read a thing because we're going to go to this island, and it was full of monkeys. And I just Googled monkey attack, and this English woman had been attacked there by a load of monkeys. And the tour guide didn't stop the tour, so she just had to sit on the boat covered in bites for the whole day.
Was it her own fault?
Well, she wrote a whole article about it, and then they reached out to the tour guide, and he said, I can't help it if some people want to provoke the monkeys. So I'm not sure what she
I'm
did.
on the monkey side.
Yeah, they all like went for her, and she said there was a man. There was a man that was there on the tour, not with her, but just on the same tour. And when it happened, he just legged it away. While these monkeys just jumped on her.
Every man for himself sometimes.
Of course. No, definitely. I remember reading about another monkey attack where this woman, and she just wrote in the funniest way, she's like, my brother is a monkey expert because he's watched all of National Geographic programs on monkeys. And it was in Bali. And they went and visited this big monkey forest with temples in it and stuff. And he'd bought a bag full of bananas to entice the monkeys in, thinking it was like...
Oh, no, you can't have a bag of bananas. They'll just attack.
They went mental, like swarmed the group.
Yeah.
And then they managed, he like threw the bag, and then they ran away, and then the monkeys were still chasing them. And then they're like, why are they still here? And the guide was like, what's going on? Like, what? And the girlfriend turns out she had a bag of nuts in her pocket that she'd refused to throw away.
There's monkeys in Indonesia that have learned that if they take your cell phone, you'll give them food to get the cell phone back.
They're like hostages. Like they're taking you hostage. That's great.
Great.
Yeah, there was this comic in Canada, and he I don't know if I've told this joke on the podcast, but he had a great joke. His name's Boyd Banks. Where he was like, he was saying like, yeah, there was this, I don't know if you heard about this, but there's this chimp, and the chimp ripped off a woman's face, and then the woman got a face transplant. But I think if a chimp rips off a woman's face, she should get the chimp's face. I'm an eye for an eye, face for a face kind of guy. Then he's like, what's funny is I wrote that joke like 3 years ago when a chimp ripped off another woman's face, and I thought, oh, that joke's not topical anymore. Then lucky for me, another chimp ripped off another monkey. It was so good.
Well, people always, they always have them as pets, don't they, and stuff.
Yeah,
and
having
it
a
ends up-
chimpanzee I don't understand how we went from like, because there was a period where there's like a sense, like a monkey can smell nuts. Like 20 feet away. We can't do that. Like, we definitely evolved from these creatures.
But we lost stuff.
We lost our sense of smell.
Yeah, imagine
strength. We just got weaker and more pathetic as creatures.
We could still climb trees.
That'd be amazing.
Like, what happened there? Yeah, if you just swing through the trees to work.
They're so against, like, genetic mutation for human beings, but it's like, if you could make me into a bit more orangutan, my life would be amazing.
I would love a tail.
Yeah. It would help with your balance,
It would
Tim.
help so much.
I think you'd suit a tail as well.
Yeah, you do look like someone that should have a tail.
Have a tail.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if you already do. What animal trait would you want if you could have anything?
Fly, obviously.
With what would you want? Bird wings or like disgusting insect wings?
Yeah.
Eagle's wings.
No. You'd have a fly's wings, like bzzz,
They wouldn't hold me up.
No,
I
they
just
would.
have these two useless propellers.
kind of like
Getting stuck
a
in stuff.
beetle. You'd be like one of those little fat flying beetles.
I would want like a chameleon's eyes. They can just rotate 360 degrees.
How?
What?
Like they could see behind them?
Yeah. They
What good
really
would that do, though?
It wouldn't do good. It'd just be disgusting.
I'd want a poisonous venom. I think that'd be the best.
What, when you bit people?
No, it'd be because anyone starts a fight with me and I just spit at them and they die. That'd be amazing. like I'd just meet a UFC fighter. You know, people always pick a fight with like UFC fighters, and it'd be like it would be like a viral video, right? Because it's just me walking up to like Conor McGregor and pushing him, and then Conor McGregor would go to punch me in the face, and I'd just go and just spit at him, and Conor McGregor would just die, and I'd go, "Yes, I am now the champion. Where's my belt?" That'd be amazing. Flying would be good though. Although you just get bugs hitting you in the face all the time.
No, not if you go high enough.
No? You
Yeah, what's bugs live in the clouds?
Well, but
Cloud bugs.
Cloud bugs.
if humans could get animal appendages, does that mean animals would get human? Like, would you trade your arms for a fly's wing?
No, I wouldn't. No.
Yeah. Then you're.
I wouldn't at all.
Then you're. Yeah, that's how it works. You can.
It'd just be a fly with arms.
You get something, or you have to.
You have to give back.
Yeah, you have to give back. You gain, but you lose.
What would you give for a tail, Tim?
Oh. Oh, so much.
I'd give a nipple. What do I need a nipple for?
Yeah. I'd give both my nipples. I'd give one nipple to give and another one just as a tip.
I've still never. I've still never have anyone successfully explain to me why men have nipples.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
It's pointless.
For nipple rings.
I guess, but like evolutionary, on what evolutionary level?
So you can circle them whilst looking at people, and it freaks them out. It's
I
like
thought it's because you start as embryonically everyone's female. And then
That's not. I don't think that's true, Tim.
We've said a lot of stuff on this podcast. I don't know if that's true.
We're not all born chicks, Tim.
yeah.
I was Beyonce.
Yeah. No, it's because you start out with the X chromosome in the egg, and then it's the sperm later that gives you the Y.
Jody's giving the thumbs up saying it's true.
Yeah, but Jody doesn't have a thyroid. So I mean, we have to.
I thought you were gonna say Jody doesn't have a thumb.
Like we have
A thumb.
my nipples are unnecessary, but Jody's missing a pivotal part to being human. Jody, I was reading about a guy who his thyroid stopped working, and he had surgery, and then the like when he woke up from it, he was just like laughing hysterically and then sobbing. And I really think you should look into how not having a thyroid has affected you. Like this guy didn't have one for 10 minutes and it really fucked him up. You have a mic today, Jody.
Yeah. Where am I? Yeah, I do. Okay, so it's not actually like family genetic mental health that I am how I am. It's the fact I don't have a thyroid.
I think there's a strong chance that your lack of thyroid has made you who you are.
Jody, can you just fill our audience in on how there was an article about you in the paper for not having a thyroid?
Oh, right. Yeah, 1 second. So, yeah, I was in the paper when I was 1 year old on my first birthday in the local paper. Let me just bring it up, sorry. And
Like
it was
you
saying-
have the article on hand, which is so weird.
Saved. It's his wallpaper on the phone.
No, it's on the front of my own website.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why?
Jody, that's so weird.
Does that help with work? I have no
not.
thyroid.
It clearly doesn't help.
Hire this man.
This is what drew us to you, Jody. We've found this guy without a thyroid who can produce a podcast.
Jody, why is it on your website? That's really weird. Take it off, Jody. Take it off.
It says from the very beginning I knew I was different.
I knew as if you were speaking, but you're 1 year old.
So yeah, it's about me celebrating my first birthday, just like any ordinary child. Thanks to a blood screening test. I was born in UCH, and in '82 when I was born, it wasn't common to just procedure to test every baby for a thyroid, and I was born in the hospital where they were doing a trial should they test it, and I was the 100th baby in the country. that came up as having not had one. But at first, I was just a really quiet baby, and my parents thought they had the best baby in the world, just really chill. And then they had me tested out, and they're like, no, this baby doesn't have a thyroid. So yeah, then they started giving me the thyroxine, and I woke up and I was loud as any other baby would be. And the local paper thought this was big enough news to let everyone know about it.
And you thought it was big enough for your website.
Yeah, and but as I told you before, not on the podcast, I don't think that, even after they found this, my mum was told I wouldn't get any GCSEs.
At 1 year old.
Probably not to expect that,
He's not going to don't expect any GCSEs from him.
Yeah.
Jody, do you know of other thyroidless, the other people who lack thyroids?
I hope that had nothing to do with the thyroid.
But this is totally separate. He's not got a fucking chance of doing any well in exams.
Yeah, they just looked at you, Jody, and they're like, nah, not going to happen.
Did you get any GCSEs, Jody?
I did, yeah. I actually got 10.
Yeah.
And I got every possible result you could get. I got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Which I think,
so funny.
Yeah,
The sad part was Jody thought that was good. He was like, this is what you're supposed to do.
Well, everyone's trying to get all A's. I'm actually try and get every result.
That's
yeah.
It's like a full house, or you're well done.
Yeah.
So more straight, but Jody.
Okay.
So, do you know how the other people without thyroids have done?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm the most successful person.
How common is it not to have a thyroid?
To be born without one, I think is
yeah.
pretty uncommon. Lots of people have deficiencies and have underactive ones or overactive ones, or have them removed. I think, people are pretty surprised when they hear I was born without one completely. But it was so it says in the paper what you were alluding to. It says, and I'm quoting, so it's all right. If the deficiency had gone undetected, he would have grown up mentally and physically retarded.
So lucky you, and also you wouldn't. This pod may never be. So
Thank God they found out. Jody, I have one question. I've heard a theory, and I kind of believe it. Have you heard this theory that the human soul actually lives in the thyroid?
Who said that?
That says it in the same article.
Yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah.
So they're saying you don't have a soul. You're 1 year old and you're being trashed in the local newspaper.
Red, I'm obviously lying.
Okay.
I was just saying Jody doesn't have a soul.
Well, I don't know the language they were using in that. Oh, shit.
Red's so gullible.
Well, I don't know. It's the 80s. They believed a lot of stuff.
That the soul lives in the thyroid.
So, special guest Helen Bauer. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well.
It's
very
just
well.
nice to be here.
Yeah, you're a first female guest.
No.
Yeah, we've had
I'm
two
like your
men.
third guest ever as well.
Yeah, but we've had
I feel like if you had like 50 men in a row and then me, you could make it a thing. But like this isn't. It's not a thing.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
none.
Right?
I'm agreeing with you. I don't know why you said that.
I don't know either. But it's nice to be here.
It's
I'm a
good to
fan
be-
of the podcast.
Okay, good.
I'm
good.
excited.
We had you on because we wanted to talk about 1997, and it might be, for both of us, one of the most important years of our lives.
I'd say triggering as well. I think it's going to be hard for us to discuss it.
You've worn the sweater.
Mm-hmm.
For listeners, Helen Bauer is wearing a Princess Diana jumper.
It's got 3 images of Diana on it. It does refer to her as a princess on it. Personally, I prefer lady.
Yep.
That's a personal choice by me.
Okay.
I feel like she was not part of a royal family through her own choosing.
Yep.
I don't think she ever chose to be in it as a child.
Well, she did choose to be in it.
Bobby, please.
Though,
She
I
was
mean, if
coerced. She was coerced. Okay. She fancied him. You can't help who you fancy. And she just coincidentally happened to fancy a prince. Okay?
Okay.
It happens to all of us.
Now, do the 3 images represent different times in her life? Is there
No,
any?
I think it's just like 3 stages of fuckable Diana.
There's only 2 pictures on that jumper.
Oh, shit! That's so bad. You'd think I'd have looked at it before today.
Yeah.
You
Well,
were-
I never look down because my tits like eclipse her. So when I look down, all I can see is Diana and a bit of a tiara. I always assume there was another Diana down here, but there
You
isn't.
never looked at.
Well, I can't see, Bobby. I've got big tits.
Yeah, but at some point the shirt's been off of your body.
What, really? I'm not taking this off until she's avenged. And this is just two stages of very fuckable Diana. This is fuckable Diana going to work out, and this is a fuckable Diana around an event.
Well, yeah. So you're a big Diana fan then?
Aren't we all?
Yeah, yeah.
I mourned her.
You did. Actually, I know this, baby, but you took it really badly, right?
It was my first public death that really hit me. I was 11 when Diana died. I
Rest in
was so
peace.
sad. I cried.
Mm-hmm.
I bought every magazine with her picture on it.
Did you actually?
Yes.
Really? This is quite
Be
creepy in a
respectful,
weird
right?
way.
I bought-
Be respectful.
There was also a single release of Elton John's Candle in the Wind,
Mhm.
a
The
CD
1997 version, yeah.
with only, I think, one song on the CD, and I bought 2 copies.
Goodbye, England's rose.
Yeah, and he changed a couple words.
But
And more than a couple. It was very good.
That was from Marilyn Monroe, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he'll rewrite it for anyone for $100,000.
Yeah. Just
I wonder how much you have to pay Elton John to make it
He'll
about
do
you.
it for me. He'll do it for me if I ask.
he did it for Gaddafi, didn't he?
That would have been actually amazing. Could you imagine? No, it's the 31st of August, 1997. Obviously, a big day. And I know that everyone thinks that Diana's death affected them. I was in France. I was in Paris.
No.
In a
School
tunnel,
holidays.
Yeah, in the tunnel.
jumping in front of a car that was
Well,
speeding and making a crash.
Seeing as there were 9 cameras on the tunnel that night and they all turned off, one of them 20 minutes before. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Is that true?
Yes! This is the thing. Like, 100%. She was killed by the Queen because she was having a Muslim baby. And that's never been officially released, but I know it because I feel it. And I just, you know when you like, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So there were 4 lives taken that night.
Yeah.
And I feel that what happened is she got in the car. She knew there was going to be an accident in the car. She left in her diary a message for her butler saying, I'm really worried something's going to happen with the car. I think they're going to kill me. And then also last year, a film called Spencer came out where the 5th line in it was her turning down the lens and saying, I'm late. Do you think they'll kill me? It all makes sense, right?
No, but she meant kill me like, oh, people, when you go, oh, I could kill you.
I'll say that to her dead Bobby.
Okay.
Bobby.
To her dead
Her
Bobby.
dead Bobby.
To
I'm
her dead Bobby.
I'm her alive Bobby. Who's her dead Bobby? She has another Bobby.
She's got so many dead Bobbies. Say that to her dead body.
Okay, yeah, okay. Why didn't she get a cab then if she was so worried?
Well, that
She can't just get a cab.
she's Diana. She can't get a taxi.
Yeah, she might
has to have
die
a
if she
driver.
doesn't.
She has to have a driver. But it's not the driver's fault. They tried to blame it on the paparazzi. It's not their fault either, actually. They didn't help. But if there's 9 cameras in central Paris looking at one tunnel and they all turn off that evening, the key one 20 minutes before, that's a fucking plan.
Why wouldn't they just shoot her though? The crash is a bit
Well, you
extreme.
can't shoot her, Ren.
Because then it's obvious. If you turn off all the cameras and it's like, oh, there was a crash because there was too many cameras and the guy who was driving was drunk, which he wasn't.
What, is he not? I thought he had like 3 bottles of wine.
It's all rumour.
Okay.
It's all rumour. Spread by Kate Middleton because she's jealous of Meghan.
Oh. So what they would
Keep
have
up,
done,
guys.
the Queen...
And then, like 3 weeks later, they released Titanic the movie. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Distraction.
It's all fucking distraction. And we were fucking distracted by it. You know?
Helen, when you talk about Diana intensely, your eyes cross. And, I gotta say, it looks like something's really wrong. Like when you were talking intensely, your eyes started to cross, and you look insane. I've never seen you so passionate about anything in my life.
I just think Diana, she would have loved this. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if she was still living how good her podcast would be?
Oh yeah, she'd have a podcast,
Oh, it'd
wouldn't
be
she?
so good. She'd get RuPaul. Like, you know?
Yeah.
She'd, yeah, interview injured animals.
And I feel like we're not forgetting about her. But it's been 25 years and all they're doing is adding more shit in Kensington Gardens for her.
What do you want to
That's
do?
not enough. A day of national mourning on the 31st of August.
Well, that's doable. So what you're saying is that
Ideally led by Meghan Markle.
the
A
Queen...
long weekend. You want a long weekend for Diana?
Yeah.
And we all put on a tiara and get drunk.
Yeah. And we all walk through landmines to get a good picture.
Do you think that... So the Queen would have said to the driver, what I want you to do...
Oh, Red. The Queen did not speak to the driver, but
Red
carry
doesn't
on.
understand how these things work.
Very droll, Red.
No,
But carry on with your theory. No, how do you think it happened? I'm genuinely
I
curious.
think she got in the car and they crashed because they were speeding away from paparazzi and going too fast and they crashed.
That's a theory.
It's a theory, but then explain everything around it.
I think what happened was what Red said, actually. I think that's true.
But then why would she have written in her diary that she was scared about something happening with the car?
Because she had
why
mental
would all
health
the cameras
problems.
have turned off?
She had mental health problems.
Why would she?
And I think she lived in a fear because she
Well,
was a
it's
public
very
figure.
easy
So it's
to blame mental health problems. I don't know how if being a passenger in a car and having mental health problems means that you should die.
Well, Helen, I gotta say, I've driven in a car with you in the back seat, and a couple hours into it, I've thought about driving onto the other side of the road.
I was very good. I didn't sing once.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
I know. You were good. You asked if you could sing, and I said no.
And then I asked 3 times because I'm not that familiar with consent. And each time you said no, I took it. And then Harriet had a chat with me before the journey back from Devon about not asking because it could be a trigger. So I didn't ask, but I sung in my head whilst rocking back and forth.
What were you singing?
Candle in the Wind,
Yeah, okay.
the 1997 version. Also, with Diana, I don't think, because of the whole Camilla Barker Bowles, there was 3 of us in that marriage, so it was a bit crowded. I don't think the Queen was the one who initially planned it. I think Camilla does have something to do with it. But it wasn't them. It was them going to like MI5 or 6. I never remember the number.
So they just got off the tube at Vauxhall.
Or
they go-
7.
Shut up, is there an MI7?
Could
No,
be.
there's not. Is there?
I don't know.
Oh, I bet there fucking is. And I bet they're listening. But I think that they would have gone to them like, solve the Diana problem. And
Yeah.
they'd have been like, okay, solve it. Because think about it. She knew about Prince Andrew.
Did she?
100%.
Oh. We're hearing it. And so how long have you
I'm
had
now
these?
really trying not to go cross-eyed. And it's really hard to talk.
It's just when you concentrate, your eyes point at each other.
That's not a good
And
thing.
what were
is
you-
it?
It's not a bad thing. It just means you concentrate way harder than
But I'm trying to
everybody
think when I
else.
concentrate is usually when I'm shitting, I concentrate the most.
I gotta say, it did look like that
Sitting on
face.
the bar like, Sunil just walking in like, hello, oh no.
What were you doing in Paris?
Family holiday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how old were you?
And I was 6.
Mm,
I was
okay,
little.
mm.
I was little. But I was also going through a sleepwalking phase.
Oh, well, I really
This
think-
is the thing. I'm worried that like I
Killed her.
wandered into the tunnel and because she loves kids swerved. You know? That is also a concern of mine. And then the Queen was like, oh brilliant, we don't have to do the whole shooting thing now.
Do you think Prince Charles is Prince Harry's dad?
Yes.
Well, no. There's the theory that
I
it's
know,
the
I
other
know,
guy.
I know the theories.
Okay. You don't believe Diana was having an
No,
affair?
they were both unfaithful.
Yeah,
both
of
of them were. He started it.
It takes
I'll
2
say
to
that.
tango.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Or 4 to tango in this case.
I don't think she should be killed because she had an affair when her husband was having an affair from day one.
Yeah, with
Okay.
Camilla.
And also with Camilla, and I'm pretty sure a couple of other whores.
A man who I learned about while reading about 1979, and he was a French criminal named Jacques Mesrine. Heard of him?
No.
No. I read. You know, you're not a reader, right?
No.
I read. So a French criminal, he was responsible for numerous murders, bank robberies, burglaries, kidnappings in France, the US, and Canada. Mesrine repeatedly escaped from prison and made international headlines during a final period as a fugitive when he tried to kidnap the judge who had previously sentenced him, which I think is quite cool.
Yeah, I think that's good. Change your mind.
He also had an aptitude for disguise, which earned him the name the Man of 1,000 Faces and enabled him to remain at large while receiving massive publicity as a wanted man.
Okay.
So this guy was on the run, robbing banks all the time, being a criminal, killed some people, kidnapped a judge who had sentenced him and tried to hold him for ransom.
Yeah.
But then it caught up with him. Quite sad. You know, he was on the run, and the French police, they couldn't track him down. So eventually, by using information supplied by an informant, they ascertained the license number of the car that the woman he was with was using, his mistress. So, because they had checked parking tickets to find it. And these tickets indicated she had been frequenting a certain district without any obvious cause. So undercover police patrols combed the area, and a man fitting his description was spotted walking with a woman believed to be the mistress. So one officer who had seen him at court confirmed the identity by using his distinct build. They looked at him and said, yeah, that's his body.
Okay.
So the couple were followed home, and their building was watched around the clock. 2 days later, they left their apartment for a weekend in the country. Like, they were not taking being fugitives seriously at all. They took the pet poodle with them. They had a pet poodle. You know, you're a fugitive. You're on the run from the police. You've killed some people. You've kidnapped a judge. But the dog wants to run the country. Let's go.
Yeah, quite an identifiable dog as well.
Yes, yeah. They're in the outskirts of Paris in a gold BMW, and then they got boxed in at an intersection, and police marksmen in the rear of a lorry immediately in front of their car threw open a tarpaulin. I don't know what that means.
Tarpaulin.
What is that?
It's the soft roof of anything but the car.
Okay. Listen, I've read a lot of words. It was the only one I didn't know. That's pretty good. Reportedly, in the instant before the cops opened fire, Mesrine's eyes were described as being so shocked they seemed to be bursting from his head as he realized he was trapped. 20 rounds were fired at point-blank range. Mesrine was struck 15 times. A coup de grace was then administered with a pistol. They just went up, boom, shot him in the head with a pistol. And his mistress lost one eye and suffered lasting damage to her arm, and they killed the dog.
Was his eyes the result, the shocked eyes, were they disguised eyes? They might have been like those.
Googly
yeah. Is there a film about this guy? Because there should be.
There is a film about this man.
Who's starring in it?
You?
No, but no. Is there? Because I'm shocked.
Well, a film about Mesrine called Mesrine was released in 1984.
Okay. Is it pronounced Mesrine?
How the fuck would I know?
I don't know.
I read a French word, I say it the way it looks.
Okay.
I bet it's not because I'm not French.
What is tripoulin?
Sometimes on Google you can press the little speaker.
I don't
with the-
trust them though. I never trust that website.
Which you just trust that you just won't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it.
Mesrine.
I once pressed it on hegemony.
You know what? I'm looking it up.
Hegemony, and I go, that
I'm looking
sounds
up.
wrong.
Yeah.
Let's see how to say his fucking name, Red. If you're so
I'm just surprised there's not an American version of this movie.
well, maybe there is.
Well, Johnny Depp could do it.
Johnny Depp could do it, but Johnny Depp, well,
How old was Mesrine when 15 of the 20 rounds that they shot at him killed him?
he was
I laughed.
42 years old.
Okay.
42 years old, so probably a little bit,
Too old.
probably Depp, probably a little bit too old. I'd probably go.
But he's like a French 42. He looks a bit. He looks probably like Johnny Depp could go a bit younger and play him, I think.
Why? Who would you go with?
Who would I go with to play him?
Fassbender?
Fassbender? He seems to be off air for a bit, doesn't he?
Well,
Yeah.
when you're read his Wikipedia, very interesting stuff.
Okay, well, we didn't say anything. Wikipedia did.
No, he's got some interesting things in his past that he wouldn't want the media mentioning for the last 5
So
years.
he's having a little 5 years downtime.
Keeps his head down.
Oh, really?
Keeps his head
Has he
down.
had a bit of has he tried to eat anybody like that Army Hammer?
No, what's happened to him? Because he's still in that commercial for that movie, the Nile one.
Can't be good for that movie.
And they're like, we tried to cut him out as much as possible, but he's still in it like 3 fucking times.
First of all, the thing is that I have no strong opinions on anything that happens in showbiz media.
Yeah, I know
Because
what you
I
mean.
only ever read. I'm just always amazed when anybody has a strong opinion about Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Because he definitely didn't. How could you possibly? They've had to go through a trial. Like lawyers and judges and people, like professionals, have had to go through a trial working out what happened. But yet you are sure.
Yeah.
How?
Mm-hmm.
well,
the Army Hammer one.
that's very
spiraled.
interesting, but
Okay.
we're going to learn
Sorry.
how we say Mesrine.
Jacques Mesrine, Mesrine.
Mesrine. So you were right.
Mesrine.
Mesrine.
Not bad, Bobby.
One more time.
Jacques Mesrine, Mesrine.
Okay, well, we have it.
Well, hang your head in shame.
I just said, are you
didn't
sure
say
that's
it
what...
wasn't
It was after
like
the
that.
tarpaulin
It was a dig.
debacle.
It
I was a bit
dig.
worried.
It's like when you're on a road trip and you turn, and then someone says, "Are you sure it's this way?" You know what they're really saying
You
is
just said
it's not this
I
way.
don't know what the hell Tarapalin is.
Well, I don't know what every word means. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was supposed to be a dictionary. I can't learn in life.
Okay, I've got a good one from 1979. Have you heard of the Twinkie defense, anyone?
No.
No. Well, a man.
Why don't you just say the thing rather than saying, "Have you heard of?"
Okay. The man,
Are you always this cross with each other?
he gets very cross.
No, he does.
He has a very big temper on the pod. And it actually kills as it aids the dynamic. It's bad. Dan White is convicted of manslaughter rather than murder for the assassination of San Francisco Mayor George Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk. So he shot them both, and he used what's known as the Twinkie defense, which is when you blame your sugar intake on your mood, and you get away with it. So he got away with manslaughter as opposed to...
So he shot Harvey Milk.
Yeah, and he shot...
Presumably it was a homophobic murder.
Yes, how did you know that?
Because Harvey Milk's...
You're more intelligent than most people who have on this pod. You actually know what we're talking about.
Well,
you don't
Harvey
know who
Milk...
Harvey Milk was?
Yeah, of course I did. As of today, I looked it up. Yeah, Harvey Milk was gay. This guy shot him.
This guy
Yeah, and he said that he was eating too many Twinkies and it fucked with his diet. And
So he didn't get
had to
convicted of murder.
He got manslaughter, and then he got out after 7 years in 1985. So he served 7 years for shooting this guy, and got out, and then a few years later hung himself because he had a failed marriage. Apparently, there was an unopened Twinkie found by where he gassed himself in his car.
You just said he gassed himself.
You said he hanged himself.
Oh, he gassed himself. Sorry.
I would like the idea of him hanging himself with like a Twinkie in his mouth.
Jacking off. No, he gassed himself in his car. There was no Twinkies. I just made that up for a fun fact.
So hang on, there were no Twinkies at all in the story?
No.
So all that happened is a guy shot
this guy.
But there was a Twinkie defense.
This is the Twinkie defense. It's a real thing. It's a legal defense.
You didn't make all of everything.
No.
That would have been a really elaborate and
It'd been
great
too
thing
much.
Now,
to
see,
make
Alfie,
up.
now you can see what I'm dealing with. Where this tension comes from sometimes.
Anyway, so that's known as the Twinkie defense. So it's kind of like voluntary manslaughter where you're like, I did it, but my sugar was all over
Like
the
in the
place.
staircase, you take the Alford plea.
The Alfred plea is, I wouldn't want that. That would suck.
Hey, it's better than being in prison.
Yeah, but
I've only seen 2 episodes of that. Was that where you're saying the owl like came down and swooped and knocked her down the stairs?
That's what happened.
Nice.
that is.
Is he in prison now?
Nope.
Oh, we could get him on the pod.
Hey!
We might. Some people are like that, you know.
I love when I read an article about the staircase. For those people that don't know the story, a woman was found at the bottom of a staircase, and it's unclear whether or not her husband killed her. He did.
It was an owl. It was obviously an owl.
It was not clearly an owl. He may or may not have killed her. He also may or may not have killed a woman found at the bottom of another staircase in a house he was in the 80s. And you read these...
Brain hemorrhage.
Yeah, she had a brain hemorrhage. So our woman and head just keep exploding on staircases around this guy.
Yeah.
And
he's very charismatic.
he really is so charming and a
Rolling
habitual
down the
liar.
stairs.
But what I read an article about it, and they're talking about him, and they're like, in 2022, now he lives in a bungalow with no stairs, as if like he's cursed by stairs, and it's like I think he's cursed by his urge to kill women.
Yeah, he can't live around the stairs.
I've been working on a bit about this, but it blows my mind because have you seen the dramatized version of it yet, Alfie?
I've seen both versions, yeah.
What's amazing is
Although the final episode comes out tomorrow.
I don't know if you've picked up on this, but it's my favorite thing in that in the dramatized version of the staircase, there is a scene because obviously they have to like with the documentary they're just shooting what they see, but in the dramatized version they fill in the gaps and the characters. And there is a scene where in the kitchen to establish the relationship between the husband and wife, the husband peels down the jeans of the wife and eats her ass.
And she loves it.
Can you imagine being her daughter who is still alive today and be like, so what they've made a TV show where I'm in it. I didn't agree to that. Great. So my mom was probably murdered. Now I'm being played by an actor in a TV show. Okay. And some woman who looks like my mom kind of but is hotter is playing my mom. Okay. And they're going to reenact her death in many different ways. Fine. Oh, and also the guy I think killed her is going to tongue mom's asshole.
There's Colin Firth being dad, tonguing Toni Collette playing mum's asshole.
God. So does the daughter think the dad did it?
Well,
there is a daughter who is not the daughter of
stepdaughter. Yeah, okay.
of him.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
there are 2 adopted daughters from the woman who had the brain hemorrhage, who he adopted afterwards, and then she adopted them too, and then
now he lives in a bungalow.
and he's got 2 sons from a first marriage.
Okay.
I gotta say though, if you do kill someone, raising their kids is quite a nice thing to do.
Yeah, that is.
It is a really nice thing to do.
Not
and
that he did. Maybe he didn't. Look, maybe
I just don't
he
think. I
didn't.
think that coincidence unfortunate because I mean, whether or not he killed Tony Collette,
whatever.
whatever
Kathleen is the name.
Kathleen. Thank you, Jesus. Quite literally dead naming somebody.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't do it on the stairs again, would you?
Not now. Now I mean.
No, you do it like.
So
You do it in a bungalow.
There's Clayton Peterson, who is one of the sons, and then there is Tobias or something. Look up what the older brother is called and find his Instagram, because it is the greatest Instagram ever. It's so he does this. He has this weird kind of tick on Instagram. He doesn't quite know how to be on camera yet. So every time he records a story, he kind of raises his eyebrows. I am aware that this is a podcast. He raises his eyebrows to the camera and like smiles at it, like he's sort of trying to get your attention. Like the fact that you're on the Instagram isn't enough. He still needs to go, we watching? Great. Hi, everybody.
Oh, yeah,
and it's him
yeah,
doing
yeah.
that and them just dancing with like ninja swords, with like being a 50-year-old guy with a 6-pack. He's gone mental. The
Of
whole
course.
thing's made him go completely
It
mental.
would though.
Of course it would.
The most traumatic thing in your life. Horrible. Even for him, I guess it's his stepmom is found dead. He has to see her dead body. His dad is accused of that woman's murder. It's played out for years and years and years and years. And then they make TV shows about it, and you're constantly reliving the worst day of your life, seemingly forever. It's hell. I'd go live in a
For over
fucking
20
cabin.
years.
I'd
It's
go
a
live in a cabin
weird-
in the woods.
We have a weird decade of. I remember everyone going, Big Brother. People are famous. We've got true crime fame now, which is strange, isn't it? There's like people famous for
True
true.
crime is horrific.
Well, like Joe Exotic, making a murder. You know, we got actual celebrities who are sort of like involved in these Netflix true crime things.
And it does, and it also the whole notion of true crime in terms of what we deem like offensive, or the way in which we talk about victims, treat victims, our own psychology around how we treat people who are criminals, and the very, very sensitive nature around everything, to then kind of go, yeah, that's all. We all need to take crimes against women and all this really, really seriously. But also, I find it very titillating, and I wonder if we could get Ted Bundy to be fuckable. Like, I really want to fuck Ted Bundy.
Well,
is it
there's-
Ted Bundy who Zac Efron is?
Yeah. Zac Efron played him. It's like, what the fuck are you on about?
Oh my god, look at Ted Bundy's abs.
But
yeah,
it's
I'll
also
go on your little boat with you, Ted.
There's a podcast called Case File, which is the most fucking grim thing I've ever heard in my life. I tried listening to it, and it's always like top 20 in the world podcast charts, and it is fucking horrific. Every week it's about a different murder. This Australian guy's got the most brutal voice I've ever heard.
Is Serial a similar thing?
No,
Serial's
Serial
more
more-
like, let's look into. He's just like, there were 2 girls. They were so beautiful. Then they were murdered and raped and burnt and fucked. And they'll be like Squarespace. And you'll be like, what? But it's like everyone listens to it, and then people sort of make a joke about something, and that's the conversation. You're like, surely this is worse. You know what I mean?
I feel like what you're saying is not that far away from what we're doing right now, Reg. I really like what you're saying. We started this episode on a tsunami.
That's true,
I
but
don't-
we're making fun. We're joking. We take it to an elevated place that's ridiculous. They're literally stating the facts for our entertainment.
Well, I don't know what one. If I was a family member of a victim, I don't know if I'd rather have people making fun of my mom's murder
But
or
we're also-
talking about it seriously. Either one, it's quite a bleak place to live.
We very intentionally positioned ourselves to not be in the top 20 in the world, so the relatives of these people never hear us.
That's good. That's good.
That's really, really, really.
That's
good.
kind.
That's
Smart.
a very magnanimous podcast.
Yeah. We should end on that. I think we've basically done, haven't we?
I'm
We
sort of nearing a point where I need to.
we should.
Yeah.
Alfie, thank you very much.
Thank you. Also, Alfie's got an
Sorry.
Amazon Prime. I watched it What's the name of it again?
I'm on Amazon Prime and it's called Sensitive Man. I'm on YouTube and it's called Imagination. I have my own podcast called The Alfie Brown Show and a Formula One podcast, if you're into Formula One, with Josh Weller called Dirty Air.
Yes, and they're all brilliant, so get on that.
Consider myself plugged.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're plugged. Alfie, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
And thank our super geniuses,
Spencer, Matthew, and Christopher. We love you.
Love you so much. You're super smart. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to an episode of The Year Is with me, comedian Bobby Mair, and my sometimes friend Red Richardson. This podcast has been produced by our brilliant producer, Jody VandenBurg. Thank you.